Hello, hello. So as you can see by what's laid out in front of me, today I'm just going to be kind of flipping through some of my favorite picture book illustrations. I've done a video like this already, but since then I've acquired several new picture books to add in, and I think they're just absolutely beautiful. All of these ones are a little bit fantastical. They all have a lot of nature illustrations. If you're new to this channel, I work with children, and so I already have lots of uses for picture books in my day-to-day life, but I also have a personal collection. And so when I'm out and about, especially if I'm thrifting, I'm always on the lookout for really beautiful picture books that I can take to work if I want to use them for classes and programs, but also just kind of for me to keep. It's a special interest of my own. So today I have Mr. Rabbit and the Lovely Present, a copy of Thumbelina, some princess tales, and nursery rhymes. So I think I'm gonna work from biggest to smallest. That way as we go through the video, I can kind of zoom you guys in. I think that's gonna be the most efficient way to do it. I do wanna give a warning that you may be hearing some disgruntled cat sounds in the background. I'm currently cat sitting, and he's very upset that I've shut myself in my art studio to film instead of cuddling with him. And so he may make his displeasure known outside the door. But I'm gonna go ahead and start with Mother Nature Nursery Rhymes. It's illustrated by Itoko Meino. It says by Mother Nature, which I think is clever, but on the inside, well, first, the end pages are just beautiful, beautiful. This alphabet illustration. But it says, let's see. The text copyright says Sandy Stryker and Mindy Bingham. I'm not going to read them out loud. I'm just kind of looking through the illustrations. I do love all the botanicals in this, but there are lots of creatures as well. I really don't draw a lot of animals myself. I'm not sure why, I've just never found them engaging to draw, though I love looking at other people's renderings of them. But each spread kind of has something different, goes through lots of different environments. I love this little like sky spirit. I love that this one's not like crazy realistic. There's a little bit of whimsy. Oh, I guess the way she's appearing on every page, maybe she's meant to be Mother Nature. Love, love, love all the flowers. Oh, up here. There's the face. You can tell that these were made with watercolor. Lots of great like pooling textures. And the fading here. There's the little face. Ten little elephants. All throughout my childhood, and I'd probably still say now, elephants have always been my favorite animal. There's the face up in the tree. And then I think we just have a few more to go. But I love the bright, vivid colors. I like the very gentle outline here. My guess is probably just a thin pencil outline, like it's not even outlined in ink. It's detailed, but kind of loosely spread. I think they did a good job of allowing there to be a fair amount of white space, like the illustrations don't feel too cluttered, which I think is nice. It gives the words some room to breathe. There's the face. The dinosaurs. I actually don't think I see a face in this one. Oh, there it is. I nearly missed it. If you're pausing to read all the poems, some of them are quite funny. I'm not really sure that that the poetry is my favorite part of this book, but the illustrations I do really love. I like this little bat. This one is maybe one of the more busy illustrations, but I love the way it goes from like really big illustrations into the smaller, tighter packed corners. I feel like that was a really good way to do it. I love the changing scale, how the deer is the same size as the apples. Something about that is really fun to me. The large seashells, the giant leaves. There's the face. And then I think there's, yeah, the same end papers, which I love. I wish they had this as like a print. If this was a modern book, I imagine I could go to the illustrator and get this as a print, but this one is from the 90s, I want to say. Let me peek. 1990, so I don't know what the odds are of me being able to get a print of that. And I think this illustration on the back is pretty, just the ring of greenery. And then I thought this was so funny. It had a endorsement from Olivia Newton-John, which makes me wonder if this book is Australian. No, I think it said it was published in California. All right, I'm going to move on to the next one, which is Thumbelina. Thumbelina is actually a story I'm not too familiar with. And to be completely honest, I only skimmed through the text. I got this at a small town antique shop, a very crammed antique shop, so there's lots to see. And I admittedly only kind of scanned through before deciding to buy this one. I just loved the illustration so much. I love this scene on the end papers with the giant flowers. I love the way the perspective makes the bee and the flowers seem so giant and the bird seems so small. Let's see, this one was published in 2004. Of course, Thumbelina is an older story, but I love looking at the dates on picture books because it's really fun for me to track different illustration trends in publishing. Beautiful florals. tiny little feet. The animal illustrations in this one are really fun. Because all of the animals are personified, the way their features are exaggerated to make them more anthropomorphic. It's very interesting, and the way it's been done here, for me, definitely does have a bit of the early 2000s flavor, and kind of tell. The illustrations almost remind me a little bit of Don Wood. John and Audrey Wood, I believe I'm getting their names right, but they did the Little Mouse, the Big Hungry Bear, and the Red Ripe Strawberry. They did Quick as a Cricket, especially Quick as a Cricket. These illustrations, to me, feel kind of similar, just in the materials they use, the way they draw people. It's like almost realistic, but a little exaggerated. I love how joyful this mouse looks. All the pretty pearls and lace. I love the insect-like patterns. Maybe these are meant to be flowers, but something about this looks like the thorax or abdomen of a bug. This spread is really pretty. I love how it goes all the way out to the corners. And then I think these end pages are the very same as the beginning. Yes. There is Thumbelina. I love this like pale periwinkle color. Alrighty, the next one is Princess Tales. And this is an assortment. I'm going to zoom you in just a little bit. An assortment of different fairy tales. Again, I'm not going to read it out loud. Just looking at the illustrations. So we've got Cinderella, Thumbelina, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, Princess and the Frog, Princess and the Pea, Rumpelstiltskin, East of the Sun, West of the Moon, 12 Dancing Princesses, and Sleeping Beauty. Most of these are familiar to me, but not all of them. But the whole book is laid out kind of like this, with these beautiful like full spreads and then just columns for the text, which I actually really enjoy. And this book as well is a seek and find. So at the bottom, they give you specific items to look for in the illustrations, which as a child were some of my very favorite books were seek and find. I loved just poring over the illustrations and looking at all the details. Here's this book's version of Thumbelina. Thumbelina riding on the sparrow. Well, and these illustrations have a hard time too because they have to capture like a vignette of the entire story. So this one, it's very fun the way it's like broken up. Cinderella's is kind of just like one scene, but Thumbelina, you really see like the journey throughout. Beauty and the Beast. Again, this is more just like one scene. I love all the gold. Oh, we do get another illustration for Beauty and the Beast. The cherry blossoms. Snow White, you get a little bit of all the different characters. Princess and the Frog. Love all the different textures in this one. The path, the trees. The way they've done the mountains is really interesting. And this is a beautiful design too. I didn't notice the text boxes on the others, but I guess they all have these kind of ornately designed borders. Yeah. This one's a little damaged there on the page, but not too bad. Again, lots and lots of gold in this one. It feels very regal, very royal. Princess and the Pea. Love, love, love all the brightly colored costumes in the illustrations. And the way the border matches the pillars. I actually didn't notice this, the way this giraffe is eating the border. Rumpelstiltskin. This one is interesting, the way it's divided up. I think that was an interesting illustration choice. I don't love the color palette of this one as much. This one has a nice pale blue. Again, lots and lots of gold, but I guess that shouldn't be surprising for a book all about princesses. Again with the pale blue. 12 Dancing Princesses, again with the gold. I love the effect of the lanterns. I've always found it really tricky to portray light. And I think the way that they've kind of silhouetted the figures is very effective. The light on the water. I think it's a very pretty artistic choice. And then I think Sleeping Beauty is our last one. Now we're getting back to that like really classic pinks and purples and blues. Love, love, love the fairy wings, all based on real insects. I think that's, oh no, we do get another one for Sleeping Beauty. A lot of these beautiful florals. And then I forgot to check which year this one was published. I would guess again, probably late 90s or early 2000s. I'm actually not finding a date anywhere. Maybe it's in the back. Aha. Oh wow, this one was 2013. A lot more recent than I thought. It says artwork was created with watercolor and ink. which is very cool. I don't know why I thought it was so much earlier. I love the bright pink color of the book. This is definitely one that I would have had as a child. If I had been a child when it came out. All right, and then the last one is the oldest one. This is Mr. Rabbit and the Lovely Present. Zoom you in a little bit further. By Charlotte Zolotow. Pictures by Marie Sendak, who did Where the Wild Things Are. Pre-owned. (1962). So definitely the oldest one. Probably one of the oldest picture books I have in my collection. Maurice Sendak has such an interesting illustration style. The way his characters are drawn is so funny to me. I don't know, there's something very distinctive about them, but she has this bigger head and smaller body. These illustrations aren't what I usually go for, necessarily. They're a little bit duller in color. There's not a ton of crisp detail. But there's just something very charming about them that I like. I like all of the pinks and greens, even in the trees. You can see lots of pale pink. Well, they're shaded with pink and green. The rabbit, green and pink. The perspective on this part of the house is a little funny. I think something that Sendak really gets right is just the right amount of visual clutter. This illustration is very busy, and some of them have a lot more room to breathe. It almost feels like the time throughout the day is changing in the book. The way the characters are shaded is just subtly different. The texture of the paper feels so much different too. I like this one, the little ripples in the water. The changing light, the end. Oh my gosh, what an old ad. Offer expires in 1980. Whew. Yeah, there's Mr. Rabbit and the Lovely Present. And here they all are. But yeah, going through picture book illustrations is, well, one of my favorite things to do anyway, but especially if I just need a little boost of inspiration. They're just so much fun. Lots of them are so whimsical. Picture book illustrators get to draw lots of things that you might not otherwise, they might not think to draw just based on what the story calls for, which I think is such a cool and interesting challenge. But I hope you enjoyed going through these with me, and I'll be back with some more drawing or painting next week. Bye!